If you've ever said to yourself, I just need to be more consistent, and then you felt really annoyed with yourself a week later, a month later, because you just haven't done it. I want to say this straight away. Like, it's not a motivation problem. It's not discipline. And it's definitely not because you're bad at business. I've been working with equine businesses a long time now. I've run my own businesses. I've worked with hundreds of equine business owners. And the most common thing that people beat themselves up about is consistency. And most of the time, they're just aiming at the wrong thing. So if that's you, this is what I need you to know.
You're listening to the Equine Business Podcast. Practical business support for equine business owners. With Jenny Bush, the Equine Business Mentor.
So here's what I see all the time. You sit down, you do some work, it's midweek, you know there's that thing that you really want to have happen or to do, but instead you get busy firefighting. You then find yourself tying up some loose ends. You tweak something that's already, you go and plan instead of that, then something happens, then you look at your list and it's just huge, so you rewrite it out again, and you just stay busy and you don't actually move forward and you don't feel like you're consistent. And by the end of the week, you tell yourself, I just can't stay consistent, whatever that is, whether it's social media, client chasing, replying to people. And that's the moment that we need to really talk about. Now, what people think consistency means is doing a bit of everything all the time, posting regularly, keeping up with the admin, serving the clients, thinking about the future, fixing everything all at once. But what I see over and over again is it's like when you try to be consistent with everything, you just end up being consistent with nothing. And it's not because you're lazy, but it's because your brain is just overloaded with decisions and all of these should do's that you just can't get to. I've done this myself so many times. I've had weeks where I felt absolutely exhausted. I couldn't actually point to what I'd done and move forward. I'd beat myself up. So this isn't just theory. Like, this is pattern recognition, and pattern recognition that I find in myself as well. So I hope that this helps you in what I've been sort of working through. The key thing that I think helps the most and can fix your consistency issues is having a weekly anchor. So every week it's about setting that intention, choosing that one non-negotiable anchor, but one decision that will make that week count, so that you're not pulled down 5 different avenues and 5 priorities and this long, massive list, or one thing where you can say, well, if everything else goes sideways this week, I'll do that one thing. It will still matter. I will still be on track. I will still be working towards consistency. Now, that anchor, you could choose, maybe it's a sales action, maybe it's a client-facing task, maybe it's following up with people, maybe it's just, well, I'm going to make sure that I write in my journal every week and stay on track. The actual task doesn't matter as much as having that anchor and that decision. Because once that anchor is chosen, something more important happens. It just stops us going into, I should be doing all this stuff. And actually, like, asking yourself, what should I be doing that I'm not doing right now? It kills your consistency. So in order to not kill it, focus on that one thing. Have I done that one thing? So this anchor is not about everything that you should be doing. It's not a full plan. It's not a full productivity system. It's not about doing more. It's about containing everything. It gives you a spine, so energy doesn't leak everywhere, so that energy can actually stay put in one place. The thing that people often talk to me about consistency is that they want to be marketing consistently. They want to be social media consistently. And this is what kills consistency. It's like feeding a horse that just never fills up. Social media, it's like you're constantly on that treadmill. So it's really hard to stay consistent. So what you actually want that consistency to be is just an action that's going to be enough. And then if you add more to it, great. And if you can't do a lot, you've done enough. And I think that's where we need to hold our consistency line. I think when we do that, that just makes life better. So for me, at the moment, I've got a lot of stuff going on. And I'm working on a big challenge inside the Equestrian Business Support Network. And I'm also working on improving the back end of my business at the moment, so I can keep a bit more consistency in terms of flow, because I am super stuck on time. My time has had to be divided so much lately because in addition to running the business, I'm having to look after Alan at the same time. I have to be a bit more strategic. So I can't be as consistent as I used to be, but I can be consistent still. And I can go, okay, what's enough? So I'm just focusing on, if I only get one post out a week, I get one post out a week, that's consistent. If I show up in my Equestrian Business Support Network, a couple of times a week, that's consistent. And it's more about who you are and what you're doing. So when we've got that anchor, we're not going to find ourselves leaking everywhere. And then it also helps us with that fake productivity, that hustle, that being busy for the sake of busy. And this is the bit that a lot of people miss, because even if you know what your anchor is, especially if you've got a really important anchor, we often get stuck in this avoidance around that. And I've seen it a lot in the challenge that we've been running in the Equine Business Support Network this month, which is the Next 10 Clients Challenge, where I'm helping you to get more clients. And it's so easy just to start off with that momentum, and then you get tired and it's hard to then keep it going. And we avoid some of it. Like, some of the stuff is hard, so we'll find excuses, we'll find reasons to avoid it. And that's where fake productivity shows up. It's like, oh yeah, I'll get to that once I've done this. Or yeah, I can't do this now because I've got to just do all those other things. And then we feel busy, so we couldn't possibly do it because we got so busy, right? And I'm not saying that you're not busy. I'm not saying that there's not times when you are busy, but you need to catch the times when actually you're being busy because of avoidance, or you're procrastinating because you're avoiding the work that you need to be doing right now. And having this anchor is going to help you with that, because it's like, I can't procrastinate because I've made this decision. Sometimes having that space where you open up to other people and you're telling other people what you're doing and why you're doing it can then mean that I've got to show up now because I've said I'm going to do it, and I can't just keep this to myself. So are you finding that you're being pulled away, that fake productivity moments, the things that are going to keep you away from doing the work that's actually going to matter? And I want you to catch yourself in those moments and just say, this isn't something that you're going to fix forever. It's just a skill of catching yourself earlier, so that when you hear yourself, I can't do that until I've done this, or I can't do that until I've done this, or whatever. If you find that there is a story going on and you're making an excuse, you need to shine some light on it. You need to pause and go, okay, what is that true? What am I doing? And I'm seeing that a lot, especially in like the work that we're doing inside the Equine Business Support Network, which is about clients. And so I've been talking about the track framework for clients. We're looking at like who you're targeting, reach, actions that you're going to take. Then you're going to make sure you're closing the loops. And then we're going to do our KPIs. We're going to be tracking things. And there's a lot of people like, oh yeah, I can't do that because of this, and I can't do that because of this, and I can't do that because of this. That's avoidance. And if you're finding all those excuses, it means that we probably need to go back and do some groundwork inside yourself to work on that. But we're going to reframe things so it's going to stop us in those spins. So instead of asking, what should I be doing this week? I'm going to ask you to ask, what am I not going to do this week on purpose? Like, what am I going to stop this week? Like, what am I not going to do? And then set the intention that next week I will do this one thing, and say, this will create the focus without the pressure. Because most inconsistency doesn't come from doing too little. It comes from trying to do too much at once. And leadership in your business is about choosing your lane and staying in it for the week, trusting the process, putting your blinkers on and staying in the lane, staying in your zone, because that's what's really going to help you to move forward. So what are we going to do? Because again, I'm a mentor. I'm all about helping you to move forward. I'm all about coaching you through this. So this week, I want you to choose your anchor, like your one intention for next week. You can only do one thing next week. What would that be? And every day, that's your question. What one thing am I doing today towards that one thing? One thing, just one, not 10, not 3, not 5, not 10, whatever, one. If I can only do one thing today, what would that one thing be? So set your anchor, then decide what you're not going to do. Like, if I catch myself doing this, I'm going to stop. I'm going to pause. I'm not going to do it. And in those moments, asking yourself, is this moving me towards my one thing or away from it? Is this actually genuinely about this? So that's all we have to do. So it's not about making new planners. It's not about doing massive resets. It's just about setting a decision, making that decision and holding it and just keeping to it. And I know you could do this. But I do get that people struggle to be consistent on their own, right? This is exactly why it's hard to stay consistent and you struggle on your own, because you often don't have the support. It's not because you're incapable. It's because everything is just being held in your head, and the pressure and that you get from that, which is why having a mentor can help. And inside my programs like the Collective or the Mastermind, this is what I do. This is what we do together. We talk about those weekly focus. We set those anchors, and it's having that container where you don't have to do it alone. You've got that support. You've got that help. And if that is something that you think would help you too, go and check out my website, equinebusinessmentor.com, and have a look at how ways that you can work with me, or book a little breakthrough call and we can have a chat. So start with that anchor today, because that is a thing that's going to actually change how you lead and how your weeks feel. So I hope this was useful. Of course, make sure you subscribe, and I will see you really, really soon. Take care.